This message to the women out there, the females, the ladies, the girls, the goddess, the suffering that y'all go through. The first and foremost thing that a gentleman has to do is admit to it. Admit. And admit to the different stages of his life and what he put that female through. And when he was in his man stage, as when I was in my man stage, the guilt, the thoughts that I didn't live up to, didn't admit to, is the suffering you go through. A man and a woman, we're always at odds. And it's not by his fault, it's not by her fault, it's by design. For us not to accept that lower version of ourselves. God don't make a bad man, he doesn't make a bad woman. We're just not right for each other at that right moment in time. And when you come to realize that, that means you move to the next stage. If you can't understand what I'm saying, no man wants a woman. She has too much man in her. And no woman wants a man when she knows how he acts. Regardless what she wants to truly believe, she's just believing in the wrong thing. Don't believe in man. Believe in the same thing that only God is going to accept out of a male. And that's the gentleman in him. Believe in that. Don't believe in man. And don't believe it. You don't even want to believe in the woman, the man that carries within your woman. You don't want to believe in that. You don't want to carry that around, because if you did, that means that's all you're going to want to be is that woman. You don't have to carry around that man in you. What's greater than a woman is a lady. She has no man in her. The suffering of a woman, a lady protects herself from that by letting go of the man in her. And trusting something else that's greater than the woman in her. And that's the gentleman. That's the gentleman. And the only thing that can receive a gentleman is a lady. She's going to have to trust that male in his gentleman form, that she can trust him with the man in her, woman, and let it go. And let it go. Try to understand that. But you're the mature creature, mentally, emotionally. And God gave you a gift of the physicalness. That is your gift. He motivated you. He gave you 8 to 15,000 nerve endings in your clitoris, something the size of a pinky. But not to share it with a man. To share it only with a gentleman. Something so tiny and so small to be treated gently with so much power. It's a gift from God. Given to a goddess to be shared with a gentleman, an angel, that understands that mentally and emotionally. Beyond the physical part is least important. He showed it's the least important. It's not about the size. It's about what it does and how to be used. Understand that. That's a whole nother chapter. But really, heaven on earth is between the legs of a goddess. If God ain't gonna let a man in heaven, neither should you. I would never try to go to heaven as a man, only as a gentleman. I know a man is a foul creature, even a woman is a foul creature. There's things to be done in our man and woman form, but you have to admit to that. The things you know, they know. I may not know what you know here, but the most important ones know. That's Jesus' God. And Jesus knows before God. He don't even want that to get to God. You got to earn the right to speak to God through Jesus. Sex ain't bad. It's who you share it with. God gave you that. We have to earn that. A male, man, gentleman, a gentleman knows that. A man, he may fight it. That's his ignorance. It's immatureness. A gentleman knows and can recognize the immatureness of his man. What's greater than a man is a gentleman when he becomes a creature of two. Gentlemen. A gentleman. Singular. Yours. Gentlemen to all. Even to other men. Man and man don't talk, but two gentlemen know how to speak to one another. Understand that. The suffering of a woman is accepting a man in your life and wanting a relationship with him. That's your own suffering. And then to know that and keep on asking for that. Don't ask for God for something he already gave you. The definition of a woman. God gave enough man, and you should never need, want, or ask for something you already have. It is disrespectful to ask for something you already have. And the day you let a man think you need him, how does he treat you? And at the end of the day, how do you want to be treated? Tough or gentle? Majority would say gentle. Some would say both. A man is only one. We walk around all day long acting tough and strong. There's no need for us to be tough and strong in front of our God. But before we can bow down for God, we got to bow down for something greater than ourselves and put something before ourselves. We put the gentleman before the man in us. That's what makes us a gentleman. We bow down to a goddess on earth to find out and show God that we're learning. We put something before ourselves, regardless if we may be more physically built than her, but really, anything that can bleed for 7 days, carry a child for 9 months, and live through a birth, I don't care how strong you are, how big you are, that physical has nothing on that. That's what makes her a goddess. And I am very blessed and thankful, and we should all be blessed and thankful when God chooses to use our seed to bond it together to a woman's egg with his spirit and place it inside the womb of a woman, the womb, to grow from the flesh of a female as the fetus. She is a goddess. If you cannot respect that, you'll never make it inside heaven. Respecting is by doing what you're responsible to do. Being responsible. Stop beating her up mentally, emotionally, condemning her, using foul language. We sit there and say within ourselves, I want a lady in the street and a freak in the sheets. Then we turn freak to beauty. A cleaner version. Beauty and a beast. A lady supposed to say, I want a gentleman in the street and a beast in the sheets. A methodical, physical animal. Creature. Big, methodical, can read. Beast. Greater than a monster. It's a beast. A man is a monster. A gentleman is a beast. Just as big as a monster, but methodical, mental, beast. Beauty. Lady. Freak. But yet, we put foul language, whore, slut. It's just nothing but a different version of freak. A lady in the street and a freak in the sheets. God is okay with that. He gave her 8,000 to 15,000 nerve endings to motivate her to want to have his child. His child. I'll tell a woman in a minute, never have a baby for a man. He will disappoint you. Never have a baby for yourself. What your Barbie doll house may be dream today ain't reality tomorrow. But at the end of the day, you will have a baby for God. Know that. You do labor for God. To me, ask yourself, who is it better to do labor for? Man or God? If that man don't want to put his name on that birth certificate, you got heaven laws and earthbound laws. Be proud. Put his heavenly father down. Put God down on his birth certificate. And when that child asks who his father is, God. That's the truth. I don't know if they're going to let you do it in society. Society's kind of fucked up. But think about it. Give a man may spend an hour with you. God gonna spend 10 months with you. You are more closer than God than any male could ever get. More than closer than any father in a church or any priest believe within you. You're a goddess. If we cannot uprise you, uplift you, to believe within What we know to be the truth is undeniable. Females closer to God than any male can ever be, especially once she went through birth. But she received the rib of God. The rib. We may receive God's blood. That's my belief. An angel received the blood of God. A goddess received the rib of God, because God knows one day he will come to her. When she is fruitful and can bear children, he will come to her. Don't matter how. It doesn't matter what trials and tribulations she go through. He will come to her. You got to understand, when he comes to you, you're going to have a 10-month relationship with God. What comes of that relationship is the birth of a child, the gift of a child, God's child. We ain't nothing but babysitters of God's children. I am nothing but a babysitter of 5 children born of my seed on earth. Nothing but a babysitter. And if I babysit my child correctly and right, it will call me father. But I come to realize I'm a foster child. What tells me that we ain't nothing but babysitters of God's children is that I call my own foster father, father. And he did the same role that my natural born father is supposed to do, but that did not do. Speak the truth. Understand the truth. We are here to foster a relationship with one another. And really, you got to learn who you are to that other. And that's who you are to that person. Do you like who you are? It's not about that person. It's about you. Even in your relationships. What your father brings out in you is different than what your mother brings out in you. A mother and father raise something different in a daughter. A mother and father raise something different in a son. We confuse our children because we think we raise the same thing. Yeah, we're raising a son. I'm raising a man in our son. And a mother raising the greatest thing that son can be. It's a gentleman. She will not raise a man. A female don't want nothing to do with a man. God gave her man and male in her. She will not raise something she don't want nothing to do with. No different than a daughter. We both raising a daughter, but a mother raising a woman. A father is raising a lady. Her own biological father don't want nothing to do with the woman in her. And the first thing that transcends that daughter, that little girl, from girl to woman, her own father is going to push her with love and kindness, but with quickness, to her mother. And that's her starting her period. She might have been eating lunch and breakfast on dad's lap for 9 years, but the day that she started her period, dad gonna say, go see your mother. And that's the first thing that defines her from going a girl to a woman. She's no longer a little girl, now she's a young woman. And the second one, the dad don't want nothing to deal with, don't want to even believe that it's going to happen. But we know it's going to. It's the day that she loses her virginity. There's something with he's going to want her mother to deal with that part. He going to want to teach her. He wants her mother to teach her how to run from men, and tell her every man is bad men. To find a good man, and any good man, it's a gentleman. Good man. God got a name for it, gentleman. We say good man, but we still hold on to that terminology of man. God said, put something before your man. And what you put before it is gentleman. God made put man on earth first. Man, woman, and child. Man to clear a path to build a house. He sent the woman next. Woman. Female. She don't want to carry that man. She wants him to carry it. The man in him and the man in her will be carried by the man. Male. That's going that direction, towards earth. But he sent the woman next, make the house into a home. A home is way more comfortable and greater than any house can ever be. The outside dwelling is the house. Inside that house, Once a woman walks inside that house, that home, and the woman and the man can never walk inside. What goes inside is the lady and a gentleman. It's not about a mother and a father. She has no children and he has no children with her. But what goes inside a home is the lady and the gentleman. We leave our man and woman form outside. That is like the pair of dirty shoes. And the gentleman knows that. And the gentleman respects a lady's house, home. And when the lady sit there and say he can come to the house, but he can't come in my home, you have to respect that. You keep him on the outside because what's inside is what's there. And every home is created by a woman. Because the first home for any human being child, it was inside the womb. The womb. And the womb goes inside the house of a house and makes it home. I don't want to go to the house of the Lord. That's on the outside. I want to go to the home of the Lord. That's on the inside. I want to go to God's home. The same way we emulated down here on earth is the same way they emulated in heaven. Respect it. Respect the chain of command. No man wants a woman. No woman wants a man. We know we ain't right for each other. The only time we come together is as a lady and gentleman, way before a mother and a father. A mother and father don't belong to one another. That belong to the children. The children should not even come into the bedroom. That's when we come outside that bedroom. It doesn't matter if we're boyfriend, girlfriend, next door neighbor. But when we have children at home, what goes inside that bedroom stays inside that bedroom. But once we come through the threshold of that bedroom door, we have to put our hats on, especially if we have children at home. We ain't nothing but babysitters of God's children. Regardless is the father of that child or not, he better act accordingly. And of course, the mother will. But we have to be conscious of that. Argue, fighting, bill collecting, figuring it out goes inside the bedroom. We keep it away from the children. We keep it away from the children. That goes inside that bedroom door. We're inviting our children in our room that's destroying them. But that's a whole nother segment. But you got to understand your mentality. The words that you use and choose to use to define who you are. But the suffering of a woman is by your own choice. Never accept a man, never look for a man, never want a man. God gave enough man in you. You should never need a man. Change your words, change your outcome. You're going to deal with every type of male on earth. You got to figure out what type you want to settle for. I'm going to deal with every type of female, but I don't want shit to do with a woman. I tell God all day long, every day, I cannot stand a woman, don't want shit to do with a woman, but I understand a woman. If she feel like she got to be enough a woman, that means she hasn't found the man yet that can handle the man in her, and I respect that woman. I just don't want shit to do with that woman. That's why I say, I want a lady in the street and a freak in the sheet. And the only way I can have her as my freak is I have to respect her as a lady. If I don't respect her as a lady, and the only way I can respect her as a lady is by being a gentleman, not a man. I tell a man every day and all day long, it's okay for a woman to act like a man. She got man in her. It's okay for a female to act like a male. She got male in her. If you don't want her acting like a man and a male, you have to own her man and her male. Not take it, but own it. When she gives it to you. When she gives it to you. The best, excuse my language, say it plain and bluntly. The best pussy in the world. It's not the pussy you take. It's pussy that's given to you. And you take it at the time that it's given. That's the man. When she gives you her man, that's the time you properly take it. You try to take it before you earn it, it's improper. It's improper. You're taking it too soon. You picking that fruit before it's ripe. It's going to be a bitter fruit. It's not going to have all its flavor. Understand that analogy. And you'll know when it's ripe. Right before it drops in your hand. Right before it drops in your hand, you stick your hand out. When it drops in, that's when the time to take it. The best time to take it is when it's given. When they're about to give it, right when they give it, your hand reaches out at the same time. At the same time they're about to give it, you reach out and it drops. Proper. Understand that. But the suffering of a woman, for a gentleman, is to be able to recognize that and admit to it. And it's not about any particular woman. It's admitting to what you know and then what you can recognize in others. Then you know what's better than a man. It's not about our physicalness. It's about our mental and emotional. And when you learn how to be able to read that and see that in others and see ourselves, then you become a gentleman, an angel. And what's greater than a gentleman is an angel. You're a celestial being. You're a descending angel. Walking on earth as a male, boy, man, gentleman. Only to go back to heaven as an angel, the spirit of an angel, spirit of God. Your soul can't even go through heaven's gates because it carries sins of the flesh. But it protects the spirit. But it only can take you to heaven's gates. Your soul will stay outside heaven's gate. Again, no different than the man stays outside the threshold of a home. It may go to the house. Outside of heaven's gate is the house. Inside heaven's gate is the home. Inside that house is the home. Don't tread where you don't belong. A man don't belong in a home, nor do a woman. A man can't go into heaven, nor can a woman. So really understand your place, the chain of command, respect it. You know it. Your spot speak it to you. Just listen to him. And that's God speaking to you. If there is a son of God, before we can speak to God, we got to go through his son. And especially if he gave his life for us. Respect that. We don't have the right to bypass his son. Would you want anybody to bypass your son if you gave him that authority? You knew he was sound-minded, willing to do the right, but yet you still bypass him and try to ask directly God and ask instead of asking Jesus to ask his Father in heaven. It's not our Father in heaven until we make it to heaven. I'm not allowed to go see my boss's mom and dad because they're his mom and dad. He runs the company. I believe God is too busy to run everything outside of heaven. He gave that to his son. Everything outside of heaven's gate. If you ain't in heaven, it's hell. And Jesus said, earn your way back to heaven's gates. Show me what kind of life you can live on earth. And that will try to make you think it's great. You think, hey, it ain't no heaven. It ain't no son of God. The devil is not an individual, it's you. If you think negative, you're going to see negative. God gave us our free will to choose between that positive and negative. What you choose. I believe my God and Jesus is positive. I try to see the positive in everything, and if I can't, I ask Jesus, what would he do? That's my big brother. I'm allowed to rely on my big brother. He gave his life for me. I'm a big brother. I have 15 foster brothers. I'm a big brother. I'm a little brother. And I know what I'm allowed to rely on, and I know what I want to rely on me. So I know what I'm allowed to ask Jesus for. And when I feel I've done my job enough, and I feel good, if Jesus don't have that power, I ask him as his Father in heaven. I know I'm going to heaven as long as I'm trying to walk the correct path with Jesus. I'm nothing but a soldier of his. Understand that. Me admitting that a female is greater than anything a male can ever be, because in order for me to see God, I got to see her for who she is on earth. It's not about any particular woman. I told you straightforward. I cannot stand a woman. Don't want shit to do with a woman. But I recognize and respect a woman. And I understand the things she's going through. I hope she can understand the man I've been. I've been a good man, but I know the bad parts about me too. So do Jesus and God. So do Jesus and God. And I have to admit to that. I understand it. I gave you the solution to all your problem. I didn't give you the answer. And it's not me to give that answer to you. But the best solution ever worked for me, I thought about my thoughts. We all think about our thoughts, but what's unique about mine, I always knew who I was thinking about and having that conversation with. That was Jesus and God. My father wasn't there in my life. I had to take care of my mother. So I could not rely on ask her. And my foster care experience in life, don't trust me, I see the good in it. I don't harbor the bad. I don't harbor the bad. Getting whooped with extension cords, whooping with bridges, standing out of your yard. I just recently heard my sister thought it was torture what we went through. I thought it was just something to make me tough and strong. I knew how to become that son for every man that came in my life that I chose to call father. I was that pit bull child. Before I would, my years experience of being a boy was minimum. I got treated like a man. I got handled like a man. I act like a man. I've been a man far too long. I got tired of being a man. I always ask myself, what's greater than a man? I was already performing and doing it. So I was a big man, strong man, muscle, benching 350 pounds in the 5th grade, 6th grade, 400 pounds, setting school records, 500 pounds. Okay, that's just my physical strength. Fighting, okay? Got tired of being a man. But still, what made me unique is I was aware of myself. Every school I went to, every city I lived in, even a country boy, growing up on a farm. But that's enough about me. The suffering of a woman only can be respected and understood by a gentleman. A man is too immature to admit to that, the truth. He won't even admit to his own suffering. Once he admits to his own suffering, then you'll be able to see other people suffering and how they suffer. An angel will never make something suffer. We are there to provide, parent, and protect, and respect. Have a blessed day.